everyone, how you doing? My name is Don, the Anti-Chef, and this is Don's Empty Kitchen. Welcome back. It's early morning the next day, so Thursday. And I just got a Foodbank order. They woke me up and dropped it off, so it was kind of early. Yeah, but last night with the onion rings and fried cheese, oh my God, we had a good time. We watched Poseidon, and I served it with homemade spicy ketchup and aioli and mustard. And I even got some mustard on my shirt because it was so good. I had some mustard, a glob of mustard on a piece of cheese. And I was holding it there because I was just enjoying the onion ring, and it globbed down on my shirt. So anyway, we got 2 boxes from the Foodbank today, so we're going to go through them. And then I'm going to do part 2 of this video, and I'm going to well, that was close. I'm going to do part 2 where I do the menu on what I have and what I can do and the best way to stretch it. So that's going to be that. We got 2 boxes, so let's go through the first box first. I was told by a delivery guy that one's for the fridge and one's for the cupboard, so I'm guessing this one's for the cupboard. Okay, so maybe we'll switch cameras here. So there. Okay, so we got some pasta. Those are my favorite pastas, by the way. The Springs, I love those. More rice. I got lots of rice. Anybody wants a bag of rice? I got lots. And apparently, I got a bowl of a box of cereal. Another box of Life cereal. So that's good. Just put that there. Life cereal. And fruit cocktail in water. All right. That's good stuff. And a jar of spaghetti sauce. It's cold. I am going to put that in the fridge, but I'm just putting it here for now. Red kidney beans. Okay, so it's got to be over here. Red kidney beans. Put that over here. And mushroom soup. Oh, that will be handy. Oh, so many sauces. Okay. Corn. Corn's always good. And another can of red kidney beans. So chili. And I put this kind of pasta in my chili. It makes it really good. I don't think you can call it chili anymore, but it makes a really good ragu, let's call it. Okay. And then my absolute favorite, Boston baked beans and tomato sauce. I don't know why I call them Boston baked beans. I always have. Another baked beans and tomato sauce. All right. That's the French side, and that's English. Okay, so that's handy. And some more tuna for the cat next door. I think it's tuna. If it's flaked ham, I'm keeping it. No, it's tuna. That one's tuna, and that one's tuna. So those are for the cat next door. Yeah, Xavier's cat, and another can of corn. So that's a good box. That's a really good box. It's a good box of sides and things I can do with that. And okay, is that going to be in the way if I put that there? No? Okay. So okay, switch the other camera for a second. And this is the box that's supposed to go in the fridge. I'm really hoping there's a bag of milk in here and maybe some sugar. Although I don't think I have any sugar. Because sugar would be, whoa! And everything fell. Well, the beans fell anyway. So, yeah, okay, let's get this back in here for now. I'll put it in the cupboard in a little bit. Pasta sauce going in the fridge like I always preach. I preach it. Put it in the fridge. Comes in a jar, put it in the fridge. I'm kind of hoping on milk. I'm kind of hoping on maybe a little bit of meat. Meat would be nice, but you know, beggars can't be choosers. Because a little bit of meat, I can stretch it like you wouldn't believe. Oh, okay. So I guess you get this package every box, every order. Okay. So yeah, we got some meat. We got okay, loaf of bread. Again, I'm gonna switch cameras here. And we got some eggs. We got a full dozen of eggs, nothing broken, right on. And chicken. Look at that, we got some chicken legs. So that's good. That's good. And then, what's this? Oh, yes. Yes, 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 yes. We got a bag of milk. And an empty trash bag, which is always good. And a bag of fruits and vegetables. So we're going to take a look at that. Let me get the milk and the meat and the eggs in the fridge first, though. And meat at the bottom because it's de-thawing. And we always put raw meat at the bottom of our fridge. Alright, let's go through this bag. I'm not going to bother with the knot, I'm just going to cut it. And open it up. And oh my god, we have a cornucopia of vegetables here. Look at that beautiful pepper. Look at that. And tomatoes. Nice, beautiful tomatoes. Beets again. Alright. Beets are always good. So many things I can do with beets. A couple of carrots, always good. A nice zucchini. An orange. A couple of onions. Make some more onion rings. But we'll see about that. A cucumber. Last time I forgot about the cucumber and it ended up going soft in my fridge, like too soft to eat sort of thing. And that was kind of disappointing. A red pepper. So go with the orange one. Nice. Another orange. It looks like 2 apples. 2 apples. Another carrot. And we got a sweet potato. And 2 nice baking potatoes. Oh, there goes my apple. Don't let it fall. Don't let it fall. You can do a small apple crumble with just 2 apples, by the way. And that's it. That's it for that. So that was from the Ottawa Foodbank here in Ottawa. And I am very appreciative. And I thank them very much because I really need this. And okay, the second part of my video is going to be recipes that we can make with this, okay? So stay tuned.
Hi, Don the Anti-Chef here. We joke around a lot on this channel, we have a lot of fun, but I'd like to get serious for a second. The Ottawa Foodbank. If you live in this city, you either use their service or you know somebody who does, whether you know it or not. It's not always easy to talk about not having enough food to eat or not having enough food to feed your family. But you're saying to yourself, I'm only one person, what can I do? Well, everyone counts. Everyone in this world counts. So even if you just have a little food to spare or some time on your hands, volunteer. Or if you have a bit of money, donate what you can. They'll take anything. They need the help. We need the help. Help your community. The Ottawa Foodbank. It's a good place to start.
Hey guys, how you doing? How's it going? Sorry, it's been a few days since I did part one of this. It's just been a few seconds for you, but a few days for me. I should give you an explanation as well, I'm going to need these actually. I'm getting to an age where curiosity is greater than vanity, which means I care more about what I can read than what I look like. But anyway, a couple of things happened. My dad's dog died, and my dad died a few years ago in 2017. And my son took his dog when he passed away. And the dog lived to a ripe old age. It was 19. It was a wiener dog. Her name was Jenny. And she died in Scott's roommate's arms. So she died in the arms of someone who loved her very much. So, yeah. That being said, so the whole family was kind of distraught over that, just because it was Dad's dog. It was the last living connection we had to Grandpa, right? So I spent a couple of days consoling my son, consoling my daughters, and then I had an ex-girlfriend drop in on me, and that brought up a bunch of old feelings that I thought were over and done with, but apparently aren't. And so I had to take a day or two to think about that. So again, I'm back here. I'm back with you guys. I'm kind of fucked up, but I'm back. And as you can see, this is the vegetable picture from our last food bank order, but it's so close to the one we got this time that I figured, I didn't take a picture of it. And so I'll just use this as the background. The only difference is I got 2 peppers instead of 1, and it was a red and an orange pepper, which are still on the table behind me if you can see them. Because they're waiting for tomorrow, because tomorrow is going to be the stuffed peppers day, and I don't want to blow it, so I don't want to say things ahead of time. So let's go ahead with my list, and it's a short list this week, but I am going to do videos on most of it because there are some techniques that you guys should know, and definitely for the home poor cook who doesn't have any money and may have some items in the house. For instance, I'm going to show you guys how to make your own mayonnaise. I don't know if you guys know how to do that or not, but I'm going to show you how. I'm also going to show you we have an interesting dish coming up. I'll talk about it when it comes up. So the first thing I came up with was when I saw the 2 beautiful peppers, and they're still beautiful. They're a little wrinkly now, but they're still beautiful. The 2 beautiful peppers came up. First thing I thought of was stuffed peppers, but I didn't get any hamburger in that order. So stuffed peppers was kind of out, and you kind of need cheese for stuffed peppers as well, but you can do it without. I have found 2 or 3 recipes without cheese, so I am going to try it tomorrow without cheese, unless my friend who's coming to have stuffed peppers with me brings cheese with her. If that happens, then we're going to put the cheese in. But otherwise, stuffed peppers, what you need is on this board. 1 onion, a cup of rice. Actually, make that 2 cups of rice. A can of mushroom soup. And it's not, I didn't put it in the recipe, half a jar or half a can of spaghetti sauce, okay? Or canned tomatoes if you have it. Preferably canned tomatoes if you have it. Hamburger, optional. You don't have to put hamburger in it. You can if you want, okay? And half a can of corn. So that's Niblets corn. So take a half a can of Niblets corn, mix that in with your onions and rice, okay? And cook that all up together. Cook your rice first. Then cook your onions separately to get them glazed, okay? So you want to put a little butter in the pan, put a little onion in the pan, wait till the butter melts, put the onion in the pan, wait till it becomes translucent, and then start stirring them like crazy because they will burn fast, so be careful with that. So once they get translucent, stir them like crazy. Once you see a little bit of color, they'll continue to color. Turn off the stove, take it off the heat,
Leave it in the same pan and keep stirring until it gets cold. Okay? And that will give you the nicest caramelized onions. Okay? So you want to mix that in with your rice and any other vegetable that you're going to put in with your rice. I mean, you could use your zucchini stick that's on the board here if you wanted to. You could use some shredded beet, but beet is very, very strong and it's very, very sweet, and it will conflict with the peppers. So I wouldn't suggest using the beet, but you can if you want to. Also, save the tomatoes for another time. You don't need them. If you got spaghetti sauce or canned tomatoes, use that first. If not, then make a stewed tomato and use that in your stuffed peppers. Okay, so that's the stuff. That's the rice. Now, we haven't added the mushroom soup or the spaghetti sauce yet because we're going to separate that rice. Once the onions and vegetables are mixed in with the rice and all cooked and nice, then you separate it into two piles or two bowls. Put it in two different bowls. Add your mushroom soup to one of them. Add your tomato sauce or tomatoes or tomato soup to the other one. Okay? And since you're only dealing with 1 cup of rice for 2 peppers, which is 4 slices of pepper, because we're going to cut them in half. So you only need maybe half a can of mushroom soup. Save the other half in the fridge, or half a can of spaghetti sauce and save the other. Well, if it's a big can of spaghetti sauce, you only need a quarter of a can of spaghetti sauce and save that in the fridge as well. Or a jar, just a quarter of one of those jars of spaghetti sauce. Okay, because you only need a little bit. And what you're going to do is you're going to mix the spaghetti sauce in with that half of the rice, and then go over and mix the mushroom soup with that half of the rice. Now, you take, if you want to make it look nice, you can just take the mushroom rice and just put it on the plate. But if you want to make it look nice, and this is what I plan on doing tomorrow, is I've got cutters in my cupboards that I've made myself. They're actually just old cans of flaked ham, which is about the same size as a can of flaked tuna, just with the top and the bottom took off, so it's just the ring. So I'm going to put that on the plate, in the center of the plate, and then I'm going to put my stuffed mushroom rice in that and stuff it down and make it nice and thick and firm, okay? And then I'm going to very carefully shake off the outer ring so it's a cake of rice and mushroom, okay? And you can put that with the ring on it. You can put it in the fridge for a couple of hours to let it set if you want, which is probably what I'm going to do. And then I'll reheat it later. But when I reheat the plate, that's all the heating it's going to take. Because before I serve a hot dish, remember, with hot dishes, hot plates. Cold dishes, cold plates, always. So to make a hot plate, you set your oven to 200 degrees. You leave your plate in the oven for a minimum of 20 minutes. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take it out of the fridge. I'm going to leave it on the counter for 5 minutes so it can acclimate to room temperature. And then I'll take the plate with the rice on it and the mold and take it and put it in the oven for like 20 minutes. Take it out and then take off that mold. Okay? Let it cool a little bit, just a little bit. You want the mold still to be hot when you take it off. Okay? And then, so for the other half of this dish, that's the garnish to make it look nice and to make it filling. You take your pepper and you cut it from top to bottom. Okay, right down the middle. First you core out the stem. Core out the stem, cut it from top to bottom, clean out the seeds and the I forget what the inside of the pepper is called, the white stuff that holds the seeds in. Okay, you clean that out and you stuff it with your tomato rice stuffing that you made. And if you end up with extra of that, that's great. It's great with scrambled eggs. You can have it for breakfast in the morning, or make an omelet. Make an omelet and put it in the middle of your omelet, and oh, it's so good. But anyway, so that's, and then you take your peppers when they're stuffed and you stick them in the oven for 20 minutes at 350 degrees. Okay, no more, no less. And I forgot to mention, if you want to make your peppers look nice, and you've got an electric stove, it's better if you have a gas stove, but if you have an electric stove, you can put the peppers whole before you cut anything. Just put them on the burners. Put the burners on high. Make sure they're nice and red, and then put your peppers on the burners for a few seconds on each side. Not long, like one Mississippi, two Mississippi, flip. One Mississippi, two Mississippi, flip. Okay, just to get some color and some smokiness in that pepper. Okay, and then you cut out the stem and then cut it in half and gut it and fill it with your stuffing, and then put it on an oven tray and stick it back in the oven for 20 minutes at 350. Once those are done and they come out of the oven, okay, if you're going to add cheese to your stuffed pepper, now is the time to do it. When it comes out of the oven, put the grated cheese on top of your stuffed pepper and stick it back in the oven for a maximum of 5 minutes. It will turn nice golden brown on top of your stuffed pepper. Then pull it out. Let it rest for as long as your cheese cooked. So if you had your cheese in there for 3 minutes, let it rest for 3 minutes. If you had it in for the full 5 minutes, let it rest for 5 minutes. And then transfer it to your hot plate. Okay? And then garnish in spices as you will. Myself, because it's pepper, I'm probably going to use salt, pepper, and maybe a pinch of cinnamon if I have it. And I know I have it. So I'm going to use a pinch of cinnamon as well, and that I'm just going to take between my fingers and high off the plate and just spice it, season it from high. I'm not going to go down close to the peppers because that's going to make too much of a concentration of cinnamon and it's going to be too sweet. I'm going to go from high and I'm going to just go around the whole area while they're still on the oven tray. Okay, so I transfer the cinnamon on and I'm going to do the same thing with the salt and the same thing with the pepper, and then transfer it onto the plate with the rice. So that's how I make my stuffed peppers. Okay, so that's our first one for our first recipe. You may have to play this back a few times to get that, but one of these days I am going to do a video on stuffed peppers, okay? But this one I am going to have to do a video on this week, so keep an eye out for that. Now remember, we got a package of chicken this week instead of hamburgers, so I got 5 chicken drumsticks sticks, and they're kind of small. Now, I've already done this, so I can't do it again this week, but I will be doing it to show you. I'll probably buy some just to show you. But what I'm going to do with those drumsticks is so that I can stretch my chicken and have a little chicken in every meal and make it seem like a little more than it is. Also, it will last longer in the fridge this way, is I'm going to schnitzel them. And what that means is I'm going to take the chicken drumstick and pop out the bone. So I'm going to make it boneless, and I'll do a video to show you how to do that. I have a video on how to debone chicken, how to cut it up, but this one is just for drumsticks. So I will do another one just to show you drumsticks, because they are a little tricky. They are the trickiest part, especially if they're not attached to the whole leg. If you haven't got a thigh and a drumstick, deboning a drumstick just by itself can be a little daunting. So I will do a video on that. And then you take your meat, and it's already cut because you deboned it. So you pound it flat. You put it between 2 pieces of parchment paper, wax paper, 2 Ziploc bags, whatever. Put it between that, and then just take something heavy. If you got a hammer, if you got a cooking hammer, even better, and just pound it flat, okay? You pound it as flat as you can. Then we're going to take some of that Life cereal we got in the meat order, and we're going to grind that up in my bullet or in a grinder, or by hand. You could just put it in a Ziploc bag and hit it with a rolling pin, or hit it with a hammer, or hit it with whatever you want, or even just crush it in your hands and grind it up. And we're going to make that into a coating. So to make schnitzel, you pound it flat, and then and we got eggs too, so it's going to be good. So you pound it flat, cover it in flour, and then put it in. Take a bowl, put 2 eggs in it, mix it up really good, like you're going to make an omelet, and then just put your chicken in that, and then put it in your breading coating, which for us is going to be life cereal. And I've already done this, by the way. And put it in the breading coating, and then fry it. And you fry it at about 350, or on your stove top, medium heat. You put it at medium heat and you fry it with butter until it turns a golden brown on either side, and then you take it out. You let it rest 5, 10, 15 minutes, and then what I did was I cut it into thin slices. So that way, for 5 meals, I have thin slices of chicken that can be added. Now, it's not going to fill the belly, but you are going to have the texture of meat. So that's the idea of doing the 5 schnitzels, which I did use in different recipes. I have used all 5 of these actually. So anyway, but like I said, I will do it again. I will get another package of chicken next week when I get paid, and I'll show you guys how to do that. So the first thing I did before I even went back to bed, the first thing I did was, because last time, you will remember, I told you that my cucumber went soft and wasn't edible, and that kind of pissed me off, and I love cucumber, right? So first thing I did was make a cucumber sandwich with that cucumber. Now I did it with homemade bread that I already had, right? And I do have mayonnaise in my fridge. But I am going to do a video this week because I have the stuff here to do it. Probably the next video I do, to show you guys how to make homemade bread, and which I already got a video on if you look for it, and also how to make homemade mayo. So we're going to make homemade bread and homemade mayo, and I'm going to see if I can find something to go in between it and make a nice sandwich out of that. And if I can't, hell, I'm just going to eat bread and mayo. It's so good. Yeah. So I'm going to show you guys how to do that this week. So that's what I did. That was the first thing I ate out of the Foodbank order, was the cucumber. The cucumber did not make it the rest of the day. So the next thing I have for you guys is inside out baked potato. Now this is a little bit of a process to get this done, but it is so good. You're gonna love it. You're gonna love yourself for making it. Okay, and you take a big potato and bake it the way you want, either in the oven or stick it in the microwave, or the air fryer, whatever way you want to bake your potato. Okay, so you bake your potato and very carefully let it cool, and then very carefully cut it in half, scoop it out so you have the shell. Okay, because it's very important you have a good piece of shell. So you let it cool, cut it in half, scoop it out, and make sure it's nice and cold, because if it's hot, the shell will break. So you want to do it cold. And scoop it out, and put that scooped out potato aside, and then take the shells and coat them with olive oil or any kind of oil you have in the kitchen. If you just got a big French fry maker full of oil, just take a couple of spoons out of it and just coat them really good with oil inside and out, and then stick them back in the oven for 20 minutes, okay? Get that shell nice and crispy and hard, and that's what you want. Now, the potato that you scooped out of your baked potato, you can mix it with the homemade mayo, or you can mix it with the rest of the mushroom soup. I wouldn't suggest the tomato soup, but definitely the rest of the mushroom soup, the homemade mayo, any kind of white sauce that you can think of to make. The other onion, because this did come with 2 onions, you could chop it up fine and fry it and add the fried onion to it. And also, this is where I'm going to use a little bit of the beet. So I'm going to take a small bit of beet, like half of a beet, and then I'm going to stick it through a grater, okay? So it's grated, right? And I'm going to use that, and I'm going to mix that all together, the potato and the grated beet and the onion, right? And then I'm going to add a few spices to it, like tarragon, maybe some oregano, and salt and pepper as usual, and just put that all together and put that back in the shell after it's cooked, right? And if you have cheese, throw some cheese on top of it. It always makes it look nice. If you don't have cheese, the idea of the beet is to substitute for meat. So if you have meat, if I had any of the chicken schnitzel left, I would have used chicken schnitzel in it, which I don't. So so I'm going to use beet in it instead. And then I'm going to spice to taste. Put the shells, once they're filled, put them back in the oven, right? And for like 350 for like 15-20 minutes. Pull it out, let it cool off a little bit till it's warm, and then serve warm. Okay, so that's our inside out baked potato. Now it sounds a lot like stuffed potatoes, but the inside out baked potato is because the original baked potato that you scooped out, I forgot to say, the original potato, when you scoop it out, put half aside, put half in your mixture that goes back inside your shells. The other half, you just add a little bit of milk, or if you have it, a little bit of cream, or cooking milk. I'm going to use cooking milk, and just make a potato puree. So, uh, your potato puree, if you do it in a blender or if you do it with a mixer, it's going to come out a little gummy. So you want to do this by hand. You want to mash it by hand. If you've got a ricer, put the potato through the ricer first and then mash it by hand, and mix it by hand with a whisk, right? And that will make a very nice potato puree. And you put that at the bottom of your plate, and then you can make it look fancy by either running a comb through it, like a cooking comb. Go to the pharmacy, buy a 30-cent comb, and use it for cooking only. Do not put it in your hair. Okay, so and you run it over the potato, and it gives a beautiful effect on the plate. And then you put your shell on top of that, and you put your baked potato on top of that, so that it looks absolutely gorgeous. And that's why it's called an inside out potato, because the potato's on the bottom of the shell and not inside of it, although it is inside of it. Okay, so I've got baked potatoes, one beet, one onion, one tomato, one clove of garlic, and spices to taste. Okay, now I didn't get any garlic in this order, but I did in the last one, and I'm still using it. As you can see in the picture, I've got 2 huge cloves of garlic. A thing like that is called a clump of garlic. Okay, the individual pieces are cloves of garlic. Okay, so a fruit of garlic and a clove of garlic is 2 different things. What you see here are fruits of garlic. Okay, you peel them, and then you got cloves inside. Okay, so that one takes care of the inside out baked potato. And finally, because I'm only doing a few this week, since we toyed with doing a chicken schnitzel, I'm actually going to make schnitzel. So we are going to take one of those chicken legs that I've already made into schnitzel. So if it came out to 15 pieces per leg schnitzel, we're going to take that, and we're going to call it a whole schnitzel. And I'm going to show you in that episode how to make spretzel. It's very close to a Chinese noodle, only it's German. Ich bin ein Berliner. It's German, and it's so good. It's a little more spicy than Chinese noodles. So I'll show you how to make that from scratch in this schnitzel episode. You will love that. And we're going to make Germany meet Georgia. Germany meets Georgia is what I'm calling this dish, because with the schnitzel and the bed of spretzel, on top of the bread of spretzel, I'm going to put deep fried zucchini sticks and deep fried sweet potato sticks. So other than one beet and the apples which I ate for breakfast,
That's pretty much all of the. And the carrots. I forgot about the carrots. Well, 3 carrots is enough to mix into your. Is enough to grate and mix into a thing of pancake mix. You make if you got pancake mix where you just add water, make a like a almost a a thicker version of a pancake mix than you would make for pancakes. Very little difference. You want it thick enough that if you dip a spoon in the pancake mix and flip it over, it just coats the spoon. That's how thick you want your pancake mix, okay? And then you mix your carrot in with that because carrot is very watery, so you want to make sure that mixture is nice and thick. And then add a little cinnamon if you got it. If you don't have it, don't worry about it. Add a little nutmeg if you got it. If you don't have it, don't worry about it. And then put it in an oven tray. You could serve it flat in an oven tray and call it a bread, or you can put it in muffin tins and call it muffins, which is what I plan on doing. But I don't have the little paper cups, so I'm not going to call it cupcakes. So I'm actually going to have a mess to clean up, is cleaning out the muffin tins after the muffins are done. So that's going to be fun. Anyway, so that's the carrots, and that's not in my list, but that's the extra. And I think that's it for this week, for this episode. We'll have another recipes idea for you the next food bank order, which should be around the first week or the second week of April. And I will let you guys know. And also, you might want to stick around because there's an important message right now. Okay, take care. I'm Don, the Empty Chef, and this is the Empty Kitchen, and I'm pulling for you, so take care. Bye-bye. Hey, I hope you liked the video, and like, subscribe, and share. And remember, if you really like us, we got a Patreon below. One last thing I'd like to say is you have value, you have worth, and you deserve a place in this world. So find that one thing that's going to get you out of bed in the morning and do it. And don't let anybody tell you any different either. Hey, I'm Don the Anti-Chef, and I'm pulling for you. All right, take care, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.